So, hi and welcome to today's class of Vedic astrology. And today, let's understand about the Karak Grahas. Karak Grahas in the sense which particular house is is the natural significator of a particular planet. Or if I want to put it in another way, if I want to frame my sentence in one more way, it will be which planet is, or what are the houses that a particular planet is the natural significator of. So Karak means natural significator, means these are the houses which these planets, if placed, they feel comfortable, they feel homely. All right, because you can say in a way, if I in a kind in a type, a natural significator house of a particular planet is their natural home, is their natural abode, if I want to say it in one particular way. But then also, whether if a particular planet is placed in its natural significator house, definitely that planet will not create that much disturbance in that house, even if that planet is Maraka. If that planet is Yoga Karaka, means if that planet has rulership, ownership, lordship of good houses in a Lagna chart, and if they are placed in their natural significator houses, their Karak houses, their Karak Grahas, then these planets will definitely behave well, in the areas in respective of the characteristics of those houses. All right, and even if a planet is Maraka, and if it is placed in their, like I just mentioned, if it is placed in their Karak Grahas, in their natural significator houses, then even if that particular planet is Maraka, that planet will not create that much disturbance in that particular house where it is sitting, because it is sitting in its own house. And when a particular person also, they are in their own home, that particular person will always feel comfortable. So here planets are like that. If the planets are placed in their own home, in their own house, they feel comfortable despite of the fact whether they are Yoga Karka, they are Maraka. Now let's understand the Karak Grahas for all the 9 planets. So what are, for all the 9 planets, for each and every of this 9 planet, what are their natural significator houses or their Karak Grahas? So for Jupiter, okay, so for Jupiter it is the second house, the fifth house, the ninth house, the 10th house, and the 11th house. So Jupiter is the natural significator of 5 houses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And also you need to understand, whenever a particular planet is Yoga Karaka, that planet will have some sort of impact in their natural significator houses, despite of the fact whether that planet is sitting in that particular house, or whether that planet is aspecting or not that particular house with its drishti. So whether the drishti is happening or not, whether that particular planet is sitting in its natural significator house or not, a planet will definitely have some result, directly or indirectly, in regards, in relation with their natural significator houses. Now whether that particular effect will be positive or negative, that will depend on the condition of that particular planet in that individual's Lagna chart. So Jupiter has the Karak Grahas of 5 different Karak Grahas Jupiter has. So Jupiter has the, you can say the natural ownership, or the natural significatorship, if that is a word, of 5 different house. All right, or if I want to put it in a very simple way, Jupiter is the natural significator of 5 houses. That is the most of any planets. Jupiter is the only planet that is the natural significator of so many houses. 5 houses out of the 12 house, Jupiter is the natural significator of. So now you are able to understand how much important Jupiter is in an individual's Lagna chart. When Jupiter is Yoga Karaka, even if there will be many dosh happening or forming in that individual's Lagna chart, there may be a lot of inauspicious Maraka planets, but only one particular planet, that is this Jupiter, is strong in that individual's Lagna chart, that individual will be able to overcome the negative effects of the doshas that are forming in his or her horoscope, will be able to overcome the negative effects of other planets, only because Jupiter is showering blessings on that individual. And when that's the reason, if Jupiter is Yoga Karaka, all of these 5 houses will be impacted positively in an auspicious way by Jupiter. Jupiter will give positive results in regards to these 5 houses if Jupiter is Yoga Karaka in that individual's horoscope or Lagna chart. Now, whether Jupiter is sitting in any of these houses or not, whether Jupiter is aspecting any of these houses or not, that even if that doesn't happen, then also, as I had mentioned already, Jupiter will play a part in the effects of all of these 5 houses. All right. And the same thing you have to understand from a vice versa perspective. If Jupiter is Maraka in an individual's Lagna chart, because of many reasons, because of its placement, because of its ownership of houses in that particular Lagna chart, because of a lot of things, if Jupiter is being a part of some inauspicious dosh, right? So the same Jupiter might give, the probability will be there that the same Jupiter might give some sort of negative effects in regards to all of these 5 houses. So the positive outcomes of these 5 houses might be restricted, because if Jupiter is Maraka, inauspicious, malefic in that individual's Lagna chart, even if Yoga Karka planets are placed in any of these houses, even if Yoga Karka Drishti are falling on any of these houses from some other planets, but if Jupiter is Maraka, then all of these Yoga Karka auspicious effects from these 5 houses will be somewhat restricted. That will depend how much restriction there will be, how much obstruction there will be. That is in order to achieve the positive effects of all of these 5 houses. That will depend on the complete, thorough and proper analysis of that individual's Lagna chart. So this is how, or this is the reason why we say Jupiter is a very, very important planet, because of its Karak grahas. It has 5 Karak grahas out of the 12 in an individual's Lagna chart. Alright, so it is very, very important to strengthen Jupiter in your Lagna chart, in your horoscope, in your life, if in case Jupiter is Maraka, or if Jupiter, even though if it is Yoga Karka, but in some sort of way it is powerless, it is not strong, then also it is very essential to strengthen Jupiter as per the recommendations, remedies, suggestions of Vedic astrology. So that was about the planet Jupiter. Again, I am saying Jupiter is the Karak, is the Karakas, or you can say the natural significator of the second house, fifth house, ninth house, 10th house, and 11th house. And you should also understand all of these houses are very auspicious by nature. So you can understand how auspicious Jupiter is. Second house is all about, if I want to just tell you and talk to you in a brief way, second house is all about your financial stability, is about your financial worth, is about all, it's completely talks about your bank balance. Second house is the Karak, is the, is the significator of many other characteristics, many other factors. But I'm saying the importance, the most important according to me is financial stability, the financial net worth that will be seen from the second house. Fifth house is all about your intelligence. It's all about your creativity. It's all about your prodigy. Fifth house is a Trikona house. Fifth house also talks about your love and romance. So fifth house also is very, very important. Ninth house, I don't have to talk separately about the ninth house. Ninth house is of tremendous importance. It talks about your luck, right? 10th house, it talks about your karma, your efforts. It talks about your professional life. What kind of profession will be suitable for you? It can be seen from the 10th house. And 11th house is also very, very important. Second house, 11th house, in a way, are definitely interconnected, because 11th house is all about your income, your flow of income. 11th house is all about your fulfillment of desires. Whatever desire you have, every individual in their life, they have a desire. And I am talking about optimistic, healthy, purposeful, meaningful desires. All right. And if 11th house is strong, that individual is seen that he or she at some point of their life achieves those desires or attains the fulfillment of their desires. All right, the satisfaction is there if the 11th house is strong. So Jupiter is the Karakas of all of these very, very good aspects in an individual's life. So again, I'm repeating, because it is of utmost importance. It is very essential to strengthen Jupiter in your Lagna chart. And for that, you have to understand how Jupiter is in your horoscope, in your Lagna chart, how Jupiter is behaving in your life. And for that, a complete, proper, thorough and detailed analysis of your horoscope needs to be done. Now Saturn is also not far away. All right, Saturn is the natural significator of 4 houses. It might not have as many houses as Jupiter, but it is also very close to Jupiter when it comes to the importance that Saturn has in an individual's life. Saturn, first of all, is the natural significator of the 6th house, the 8th house, the 12th house. Saturn is also the natural significator of the 10th house. So here you have to understand, now when I say Saturn is the natural significator of the 6th house, 8th house and 12th house, I think I have discussed in some of my previous classes. If Saturn is placed in the 6th house, 8th house or 12th house, it gives a kind of a mental strength to that individual. All right, it depends upon also whether Saturn is conjuncting with other planets or not. But if individually Saturn is placed, all right, I'm not taking into consideration if any Saturn is forming any dosh in the 6th house, 8th house or 12th house, or other inauspicious planets are aspecting Saturn, which is placed in any of these 3 houses, 6th house, 8th house or 12th house. I am not considering that. I am just saying that if Saturn individually is placed in any of these three houses, then it gives a kind of a tenacity, a kind of a resilience to that individual. The strength of the horoscope somewhat increases, because I'm talking about because the mental strength of that particular individual somewhat increases. Now it depends whether Saturn is giving auspicious effects or inauspicious effects. That will depend on the entire placement, the entire behavior, the entire overall status of Saturn, and it will also depend on that individual's karma. So when I say Saturn is also the lordship of the 10th house, all right. It is the natural lordship, means it is the natural significator of the 10th house also, because 10th house is all about your work, it's all about your karma. And whenever we talk about karma, Saturn is definitely involved in that, all right. Like Saturn and your karma, it always goes side by side. If your karma is very good, if your karma is very pure, if your karma is very, very strong, filled with hard work, filled with optimism, Saturn will definitely give good results in some point of your life, all right. And if the same karma is negative, then Saturn will not be pleased and might give results based on your way of approach towards life. So this is why I say when Saturn is placed in the 6th house, 8th house, 12th house, it can be a blessing, but it can be somewhat difficult. It can be a blessing only when your attitude towards your life, your approach towards your life, your way of living, your way of approaching others, your respect towards others, your nature towards others, your approach towards others, your approach towards your work, towards your family, everybody, everything, including you, circling around you. If it is positive, if it is pure, if it is healthy, if it is meaningful, if it is optimistic, the same Saturn will reduce the negative effects which are normally seen happening from the 6th house, 8th house and 12th house. It depends on in which particular house Saturn is placed. But even if Saturn is not placed, then also as Saturn is the natural significator, Saturn will definitely improve the overall functioning of these three not so auspicious houses, that is the 6th house, 8th house and 12th house. And it will only depend on you. And if the same approach that an individual takes is negative, is pessimistic, is unhealthy, is unproductive, it's very much completely bad, right? Then the same Saturn might increase the negativities of the 6th house, 8th house and 12th house. And if the negativity of all of these three houses increases in an individual's Lagna chart, again it completely based, I'm talking from a Saturn perspective, from his or her karma perspective, all right, then obviously that individual will not have an easy life, all right. Hurdles will increase, difficulties will increase, peace of mind will be frequently going, many factors which are not that much good will be occurring, and it is only happening because of that particular individual's way of living, which is not correct, which is not good. So it is very, very essential that especially if Saturn is placed in the 6th house, 8th house or 12th house, or even irrespective of the placement of Saturn, what I normally feel, according to me, completely according to my belief, and what I truly believe is your approach towards your life, your approach towards your approach towards others, your attitude towards yourself, your attitude towards others, your way of living, your way of thinking, your heart, your mind, your efforts, your work, your karma, it needs to be positive. You have to, give a decent effort. How much struggles there may be surrounding you, how much difficulties there may be surrounding you, all right. how much uneasiness you may be feeling. I know during such times of low, such times of crisis, it is difficult to keep up a positive attitude. I can definitely understand that. But here is where the free will, the tenacity, the maturity, the moral compass, the power of your subconscious mind, the your way of controlling your unconscious mind, how much conscious you are in, how much mindful you are, all of these plays a very, very important factor to keep you in the right track of life. And in order to achieve all of these things, especially if your mental health is very good, you will be able to rectify your wrongs, and you will be able to stay in the optimistic, correct, meaningful, purposeful path of life. And your mental health plays a very crucial role in this particular aspect. All right. And the best way of improving your mental health, if I want to just tell you one particular tip, is meditate daily. Because the more you will stay calm, the more you will stay mentally, emotionally relaxed. All right. The more you will be able, the more self-aware you will be. And if you have self-awareness, then I think you will definitely know what is right, what is wrong. There will not be there will not be a requirement for anybody else to tell you what is right, what is wrong. As long as you develop that self-awareness, which is very important and which is not that easy. If it might sound very easy, very normal, self-awareness, it's how much hard that can be. But ask yourself this question: 24/7, how much self-aware are you? Or out of this 24/7, how many times or how much time are you self-aware? And when I tell you how much self-aware you are, you have to understand the word self-awareness from an existential point of view, from a deep, meaningful, and a holistic point of view. Self-awareness doesn't mean that, okay, I have 2 eyes, I have 2 ears, I have 2 hands. I'm not talking about that self-awareness. Self-awareness is about your understanding about your own self and also about your surroundings. Self-awareness is when your perception about the reality will be the reality itself. All right, so let's come back to the topic of Karak Grahas. Now we will come to the planet Mars. Mars, so whatever I am saying, the same concept, the same understanding will be applicable for all of these planets. It means basically, even if the planet is not placed in their natural significator houses, then also the planets will play a role in determining the outcome, the eventual outcome of all of these houses, their natural significator houses, irrespective of the fact other planets are sitting, irrespective of the fact other planets are giving drishti to such planets as natural significator houses, irrespective of the fact that whether planets are sitting in their own natural significator houses or not, directly or indirectly, a planet always has a role to play in determining, in finding out, in ultimately, giving a conclusion to the understanding of how a particular house will behave and play, how a particular house will give its effects in that individual's life. And when I talk about house, I'm talking about the planets' natural significator house. So the planets will always play a role in this factor. So Mars is the natural significator of 3rd house, 6th house, and the 1st house. All right. Again, I'm repeating. Mars is the natural significator of 3 houses, that is the 3rd house, 6th house, and the 1st house. Sun is the natural significator of two houses. One is the first house and another one is the ninth house. Venus is the natural significator of two houses. One is the fourth house and the another one is the seventh house. Moon is the natural significator of only one house, that is the fourth house. Mercury is also the natural significator of only one house, that is the 10th house. Rahu is also the natural significator of one house, that is the third house. But it is also believed that Rahu is the natural significator of the 11th house also. Ketu is the natural significator of one house, that is the 12th house. All right. So I have discussed in detail, covering all the important points, that is, for a particular planet, what are its natural significator houses? For a particular planet, what are its Karak grahas? All right. And I have explained to you also what is the meaning of this. What is the meaning of natural significator? When a planet is a natural significator of a particular house, when a planet is a Karak, or a particular house is the Karak graha of a particular planet. What it means, what it symbolizes, what it represents. I had given you the entire explanation of it using basically the example of Jupiter and Saturn and Mars, and you have to apply the same knowledge concept for all the planets. All right. And this is very essential. So whenever, again, I'm repeating the same thing. If you are, or whenever you will be analyzing, interpreting a particular Lagna chart or a horoscope of an individual, you have to understand this particular concept of Karak grahas. Then only you will be able to understand how a particular house in a particular individual's Lagna chart will give effects or is currently giving effects. And for that, this Karak graha concept needs to be very, very clear. And then you have to understand whether the particular planet is Yoga Karaka and Maraka, that will have an impact on that particular planet's natural significator houses. So that's it for today's class. I hope you are watching all of my previous classes and in detail. Don't even miss one particular class. If you miss it, then see, you only will be missing out on an entire topic that is very important if you want to understand Vedic astrology in completeness. All right. In absolute, if you want to completely understand, if you want to thoroughly, properly, and in detail wise, if you want to understand Vedic astrology, you have to watch all of my classes. And if you want to be thorough with a particular concept, if you want to remind yourself about whatever things that you are learning, that you are watching and that you are hearing, that you are seeing, all right, that you are listening, for that you have to learn whatever you come across from all of these classes of mine. Then only you will be able to educate others also about a particular topic that you are learning about in my astrology, Vedic astrology classes. And if you want to be a very sincere, honest, thorough, sound, fluent practitioner of Vedic astrology, then you have to watch my classes over and over again. And I am saying this in considering the fact that if in case you are not able to understand completely 100% about a particular topic in one watch, so you have to watch a particular class of mine multiple number of times till you have 100% understanding about that particular topic. And as you're watching, whenever it is required, pause the video, you draw that particular Lagna chart, whatever you are listening, understanding from these classes of mine, practice it in your notepad and try to analyze whatever you are doing is matching with my words or not. At a time when it will be matching, then you will be able to understand that yes, you have understood the classes very, very completely and very properly. All right, till the time you are still having doubts, you are still having queries based on the contents, whatever you are seeing, watching, listening, learning, understanding, you have to keep on practicing, you have to keep on watching again and again till the time your entire doubts, the moments you are getting stuck, all of these things are completely these are completely gone. So you will say that yes, now I am fluent regarding that particular topic. And when you achieve this, when you are fluent with one particular topic, then only you move to the next topic. Otherwise it will be all, it will be completely a kind of a chaos. It will be you will be confused, because if you are not learning one particular topic completely and then again you are proceeding to the next class, then it will not completely help you, because all of these classes are interconnected. In order to understand one class properly, you have to watch, learn, understand, practice all of the previous classes first. Then you have to come to that particular class. So then only you will be in tune with whatever I am saying. You will be able to understand properly whatever I am saying and whatever I am telling you to do. That is in all of my classes. And if you have definitely watched all of my previous classes, I am conducting all of these Vedic astrology classes in a practical way, showing you practical examples from using Lagna chart itself. Because whatever you are learning, you have to implement that in your practice. You have to use this learning into interpreting and analyzing an individual's horoscope Lagna chart. Then only you will be able to transform other people's life. And if you are using this learning to interpret or analyze your own horoscope, then you will be able to transform your own life for the better. But in order to achieve that, you have to be thorough, you have to be fluent, you have to be sound with whatever I am teaching, whatever I am sharing, whatever I am discussing. And that is the reason why I always discuss and I always give examples. I always tell you, discuss with you in a practical way, so that it will make sense. You will be easily able to carry forward the learnings into your practice. So again, thank you for watching today's class, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my videos, share my videos. And if you feel that there are certain doubts, certain queries, certain questions that you are not finding an answer to, that is related to these topics of Vedic astrology, you can share those questions, queries, doubts in the comment section, and I will definitely try to answer them. All right. So take care, be happy, and I will see you in the next class.